Hi everyone, and welcome to the Aquarius July 2021 self-connection reading. This is I Am Illuminated tarot and meaning-based spiritual coaching services. I am Lauren. Welcome. So, all of my lovely Aquariuses, this is one of 3 readings that I do for each sign each month that is focused on connecting you with some aspect of your internal, unique, authentic self and how it connects to some other aspect. So, this reading here is actually about connecting you with yourself, through yourself, bringing awareness to self. I also complete a spiritual connection reading where we take a look at your unique internal authentic self and how it connects to your external environment, and a love connection reading where we take a look at how you connect your unique internal authentic self with the unique internal authentic selves of others, and of course the underlying energy of love and romantic love as well. All right, so Aquarius, we are going to this is basically a reading to bring awareness to yourself. And I'm going to utilize the Triad of Engagement, which is a coaching tool that I have developed that focuses on utilizing the 3 principles of curiosity, courage, and contemplation, and showing how when they're used together, they can help not only unlock what's within yourself and your unique singular importance, but also for you to see how it can be engaged with your external environment, and how by doing so you get a chance to really step into understanding your place and purpose, and thereby fulfilling yourself, the role that you're meant to play. And that leads to emotional fulfillment and happiness. All right, so Aquarius, we are going to be taking a look right now at the first principle in the Triad of Engagement, which is curiosity. So I'm pulling a Power of Surrender card, and we are going to be using this for basically the kind of overarching question that you're going to be looking at, keeping in mind as you start to direct awareness towards yourself. Now, when I talk about curiosity, I'm talking about really making use of the principles of optimism, receptivity, openness. So normally we are focusing curiosity away from ourselves. We're focusing it towards our external environment. But the same issues that we can find as we get older that we apply curiosity to, or that we find when applying curiosity to our external environment, also applies to when we decide to finally turn that curiosity inwards. And what can happen is that instead of really taking advantage of the beautiful principles that underlie curiosity, which are optimism and openness and receptivity, and just really tapping into the awe and wonder of what is possible and what we also can never really know or fully understand about our life experience, we can instead become closed and pessimistic and have a lack of receptivity. So when we step into that place towards ourselves, that's where we become stagnant. That's where we get stuck saying, well, this is just the way I am, or I don't want to bring this part of myself out because the last time I did this, this is what happened. And so I know that this is what's going to happen again. And in reality, we are meant to be continually growing, just like we grow physically, and just like we can actually expand mentally, which is really what our early years of education are really focused on. We also are meant to grow and evolve emotionally and spiritually. And in order for us to do that, we have to continue to stay curious about ourselves. We have to continue to unlock and uncover what makes us unique. So, Aquarius, you have for the month of July, and since this is at the end of the month, I apologize. This is going to be kind of rolling into August. But to kind of start as something to be aware of, as a question to ask yourself as you start to bring awareness back to self, we have surrender to the wisdom of your body. And it says, listen to your body's messages about a person or situation. If you feel physically drained or uncomfortable, be cautious. If you are energized and happy, move forward. I think this is a card that really brings up a topic that a lot of us struggle with. A lot of our day-to-day experience is working with stressors, working with challenges. This can be at work, where we're dealing with just logistical challenges, but it also can be dealing with interpersonal challenges. Same thing can be said in our home life, that there's always going to be some kind of interpersonal challenge that we're dealing with, along with situational stressors and challenges. And oftentimes we forget that our physical being is kind of like a divining rod. It's our ability, it's the first place where we get a chance to tap in to feeling. And really, when I talk about feeling, that's actually emotional. We get a chance to actually experience emotions through our physical body. And often what I've noticed, and I've actually experienced this myself personally when I went through an extended period of kind of emotional disconnection from both myself and from my engagement with my external experience, that when you disconnect emotionally, what happens is that can also present itself as basically physical issues. So it's your body's way of saying, hey, warning, 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 you are disconnected from feeling. And so we're going to try in any way possible to get your attention and to try to bring you back to this emotional engagement with yourself, which is the seat of where we get a chance to feel and experience emotional fulfillment, by bringing it through on a physical level. We are going to start to show you, we're going to start to have, this is where mystery pains and illnesses come from. This is also where we can just simply be having a chronic headache that won't go away, and we can't find an underlying cause. Well, the underlying cause is that you are not listening to yourself. And how we listen to ourselves is through our emotions. It's through our body. It's through all the different planes of our experience. So, what you can be curious about as you are starting to direct this awareness back to self is, where are you not listening? Where are you pushing away intuitive emotions that are coming up that you can actually feel in your body? This can come across as not just mystery illnesses or pains, but this can also come across when you're just sitting in a room with somebody and you suddenly feel upset for no reason. Or you leave a meeting feeling emotionally drained, feeling like perhaps now, and it can also carry over into other aspects where you feel like you're judging yourself or second guessing yourself every time you're around somebody. It's going to also look like the opposite, where maybe you come out of a meeting with somebody or you come out of an interaction with somebody and you feel great, you feel energized, but you're not actually bringing awareness to that as to why are you feeling energized? What part of yourself is being engaged? When you feel energized, are you recognizing that is actual energy moving within your body tied directly to your emotions, and that it's tied towards maybe feelings of happiness and joy? And of course, the reverse can happen, that when you have a negative experience, that you can walk away feeling depleted. And that when you feel depleted, it's not just feeling, let's say, maybe tired or lethargic in your body, it's actually an emotional connection to feeling less than, to feeling slightly depressed because you maybe felt judged by this person, or you felt that something was coming in that was, again, just making you feel less than. But instead of actually pinpointing, well, what is it about this experience or this person or this situation that makes me feel either really great or really low? We could sometimes just push it away and like, whatever. I don't know why I felt that way. That was silly. And it's not. That's actually your body trying to say, warning, or hey, look over here. Do more of this. Follow more of this. This person's unlocking this about you. This situation is unlocking this about you. Situation's unlocking excitement. Or the situation is bringing you down. And this is one of the really, I'd say, rudimentary ways where we can get a chance to kind of see where we're not in alignment with our unique internal authentic selves. So if you're new to kind of working and unlocking with yourself, unlocking these kind of deeper, singular, soul-based aspects of self, you kind of have to start at a higher level. You can't dive down instantly and be able to be like, oh, I'm just going to bring awareness to myself and see that, oh, this is my ability and this is my hope and dream and this is exactly where I'm off in my life. It's a process. So Aquarius, you are a sign ruled by the mind. You're also a fixed sign, which can mean that sometimes you get really fixed in your thoughts, fixed in your viewpoints, and it might be hard to deviate from those. And this could be where perhaps there's a block right now, that you're in your mind and you're not attuning, you're not connecting with the other aspects of your experience, which are physical, emotional, and then there's the spiritual side. And when we tap into and start to really engage with our emotional side and actually engage the other two aspects, the physical and the mental, that's really when we tap into the spiritual. We're kind of running on all four cylinders at that point. But for you, I think that this is a great place to at a high level, really utilize your body as this first kind of compass point of like, whoa, as I'm going through my day over the next couple weeks, what's standing out to me? Is it something where when I go on social media and I'm scrolling through Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever you go on and look at, are you coming away with a feeling of ugh? And where is that coming from and why? And it's when we ask that why, when we dive into curiosity, and we do it not from this place of, well, I don't really want to see that part of myself, or I don't really want to know the answer, or I know that looking at social media is bad and everybody doesn't feel good after. It's about stopping and wiping the slate clean and coming at this with true curiosity, which is open and receptive, to say, yeah, maybe everybody does feel bad after looking at social media for X amount of time, but why does it make me feel bad? This is not about generalizations. We're looking at ourselves. We're bringing awareness to you as a singular being who's living their own very specific life experience. So if you are feeling bad walking away from looking at social media, then this is where you get to kind of open the door to, well, what is it? Is it because I feel like everybody else is living lives that my life doesn't measure up to? Is it because I don't like that I've had to be apart from so many people for so long, and it makes me feel more isolated, actually, that I'm not getting to participate and be physically interacting with these people in my life that I miss because of maybe the pandemic or because of just a life situation? It's about diving to the deeper why, and then bringing that back to yourself, because that's going to be kind of the first little beacon of like, okay, well, that's what I need to bring awareness to. If I don't feel like my life is meeting up to these standards of other people and it's making me feel bad, well, what is that? Is it because I've tasked myself with kind of an unattainable goal and told myself that unless I meet that, I'm nothing, which is not the case, and so many of us do? Or is it that you feel pressured to fit into that role And now when you realize and think about it, that actually you don't really. And so why are you feeling bad about it? It's one of these things where sometimes it brings awareness to, we guilt trip ourselves into feeling bad. And then when we dive in a little deeper, we realize, well, wait a second, I'm only feeling bad because I've been told that my life in comparison to this is bad. Or I've been told that I have to be at a certain place in my life, or people in my life are putting these expectations on me. But is that what I really want for myself? And can I simply start to unlock what feels authentic for me? So now we're going to move into, I'm going to pull an spirit animal oracle card for the concept of courage. And courage is where we get to connect with our own self-power, our place of empowerment. This is where we get a chance to tap into courage, to make the decision to take action from a place of authenticity. And this can be very difficult. We oftentimes want to shy away from making it a choice that feels right for us. And we do it for a number of reasons, whether we're trying to protect somebody else, or whether we're again trying to conform. In Aquarius, you are not a sign of conformity. In fact, you are a sign that, because of your connection in the mental realm, to the higher mental realm, you have this ability to connect dots between things that have yet to be really realized by the majority of people here in the tangible world. And so you can be that kind of crazy mad genius where you're coming up with this like random idea, and that's an incredible superpower to have. But it's also really scary to come up with an idea that is so out there, or avant-garde, or hard to get across to the average person, or to other people just in general, that sometimes I think you guys, might shy away from acting on it. I mean, I know I have, and I would, because we know that once we start to go down that path of taking action on, let's say, like a new innovative idea, or trying to get across something that we've just connected dots with, that if people don't agree or can't see it, oftentimes those interactions can turn a little tense, a little negative, and it might mean that, again, you are judged critically by your external environment. It also might mean that you have to put more work on your plate because you see the importance of this idea or inspiration, but now you have to convince others of that. So there's all kinds of layers to why it's very difficult to sometimes tap into that courage to make decisions on our behalf. But it's necessary, because that's what life is all about. That's why we face challenges. We face challenges with courage to unlock these aspects of ourselves that are meant to be unlocked. So for you, Aquarius, you have antelope spirit. And it's number 2, which I love. The number 2 in general is a great number. And it says, life is speeding up. So I get the feeling, just when we think about antelope in general, when we've seen, I'm sure, even if you don't live in an area where there's antelope, we've all seen either on a nature channel or gone to the zoo, and we've seen how quickly these animals can run. Now, oftentimes antelopes are, it's very rare to see like one antelope. They tend to roam in groups. I don't know what a herd, probably it's a herd of antelope, I don't know. But there is this component of, once they get going, so if they get spooked and they have to run, well, it's kind of like each person's out on their own. Or each antelope is out on their own. Yes, there's protection in numbers, so to speak, but if a lion comes into the mix, well, they're going to single out one antelope. And so at that point, it really is to each his own. It isn't about you trying to slow yourself down to distract from the lion getting your neighbor or whatever. It's about you just going as fast as possible for yourself. And that's kind of a lesson in life in general, that, you know, things happen. We're always encountering challenges. We're always encountering new situations. And so much of the time we are so focused on not taking authentic action because we're worried about how it's going to affect somebody else who's also being affected by the same situation. And in reality, the best way to help somebody else is to come from a place of authenticity. So it's almost like, to a certain extent, I'm getting from this card, which I've never gotten before until right now. There's this quality of, got to put your oxygen mask on first before you put it on, your child or your neighbor. It's about when the pace picks up, which I think it is for you right now, as far as taking action, that you are almost forced to come back to self and to look out for numero uno, which is you. Now, number 2, which I find very interesting in this, is the number 2 kind of goes against that. The number 2 is a card of union. It's a card of helping. It actually, if you follow numerology and you know your life path number or your expression number, a lot of times the dark side of the number 2 is that they become so focused on helping others to the extent that they can almost martyr themselves for others. And so there's this component here of really in taking, when you're bringing awareness back to yourself and you're thinking about, okay, checking in and starting to use your body in combination with your emotional body as to what's making you feel good and what's not. Well, now when you're starting to take action, it's time for you to start to take action on your behalf. If something is not feeling right, well, it's not about staying in that environment because you want to help somebody else. It's about, making that quick, decisive action, checking in with your body in the moment to say, this doesn't feel right. So I'm going to course correct. I'm going to step up and have the courage to take action in the moment to change the situation. Whether it's that I make the decision to continue to not hang out with this specific person, or that I start to take action at work and I make the hard change. Now, this could be perhaps trying to sell an idea at work, or it could be realizing that maybe the stressors at work are not working for you, or that the team you're on is not supportive and you don't feel supported. And then now it's time to look out for yourself. Yes, we all have to work together as a team in the collective experience, but in order for us to do that, we have to be in a place of awareness, of emotional and physical and mental, and then eventually spiritual health, where we are aware of what we bring to the table at any given point, when we are aware of our strengths and weaknesses, and where we're able to communicate them from a place of optimism and positivity, and to see really where we can be of help to others. Not just help in the way that we feel we have to be, or because that's what makes us look nice, or because that's what makes us fit into the herd. It's about understanding that Aquarius, as an Aquarius, you're meant to stand out. You're meant to be the quirky person who, it's almost like the mad scientist. You're meant to be the mad scientist. And the mad scientist always is usually, now obviously there are many characters that show mad scientist is also the bad guy, but there's also this element to the mad scientist, and I'm thinking of the movie Back to the Future. And I'm thinking of the one character, Marty's friend who, I can't think of his name now off the top of my head, but where he's a heart of gold. He's trying to do his best. He comes across a little out there, and sometimes people can't get what he's trying to, bring across, but he is always coming from a place of wanting to help, of wanting, and truly that childlike sense of curiosity, where he's just always excited about everything. And that's really the energy for me when I think of Aquarius. That's what I think of you guys. that you have this, not that you all have to be crazy, wild-haired scientists, but that, or mad scientists or whatever, but that you have this ability to be different and to own it and to really utilize that to help bring this fresh energy and outlook to the greater collective experience. But it has to start with you realizing that when times get tough, or when it's crunch time, or when your life starts to speed up, that your decisions should be made on your own behalf. That when the herd starts to run, it's to each his own, and that you really only have to be responsible for yourself first. And in doing so, you free up everybody else to be responsible for themselves. All right. So now I'm going to pull a card for contemplation. Now, contemplation is the last principle in the Triad of Engagement. And contemplation really is awesome in that it connects the two prior principles. It connects curiosity with courage, and then gives you a chance to learn from what you are connecting between those two. So you get a chance to take a look at where you were curious, where you took action, and then you get a chance to take a look at what were the consequences that ensued from that interaction, from that engagement. And this is where we get to integrate lessons learned. We get to self-correct. We get to self-educate. We can also really build on areas when we have really great consequences to our actions. This is where we can kind of keep the ball rolling. We can gain momentum in certain parts of utilizing certain aspects of ourselves and bringing them out. It's also where we can start to realize maybe where we've been weak, where we haven't been utilizing an aspect of ourselves, and we need to continue to do so in a way just like flexing a muscle, or learning something on a mental level where you're doing a math problem over and over and over again. It's the same with bringing out aspects of our internal authentic self. The more we utilize them, the more we become proficient in working with them. And that's really where we hit that sweet spot of allowing our authentic singular selves to start to shine in the greater collective puzzle. All right, so let's see. What do my Aquariuses need to know? Ooh, as it pops right out here. And so we have awakening. And it says, energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. And I think that's a really great summation card here of, yeah, you guys are waking up to yourselves right now. You're waking up to your unique self. You're getting a chance to really tap into the entirety of your experience of who you are as a unique spiritual being. And that first step is to tap into your physical being, because it's the easiest one for us to really read, if that makes sense. We know right away when we have an ache or a pain. We can tell right away when we feel that kind of sinking feeling in the pit of our stomach, or where we end up having a headache because we're stressed. And so really, when you're thinking about bringing awareness, awakening, these energetic upgrades, a new way of being, well, you're starting with tapping into self through your physical being. And through your physical being, you're engaging with your emotions. And then you get a chance to really realize, no, it's me first. It's me first, that when things start to speed up, I have to take action on my own behalf. If the lion is coming out the gate and I'm surrounded by 10 other antelope, well, I need to run my own path. It's not about looking back and worrying of like, what's that person doing? It's also about, in the moment, as as things are coming into you, as you're starting to bring awareness to self and bringing awareness to the fact that you are an Aquarius and have this beautiful connection to the divine and to inspiration that's outside of the box, that as you're connecting with that, that you are starting to really tap into that courage of like, okay, I got to share it now. Because that's the other aspect to you, Aquarius, is that you get a chance to not only have these divine downloads, but you have the stability as a fixed sign to bring those down into the tangible reality and allow the rest of humanity to benefit from them. So if you're sitting with all of this great, download, and this can be, it doesn't have to be like you're a mad scientist and you're like Einstein and you come up with something, amazing that's going to like instantly change the way everybody experiences life. It's not like you all of a sudden come up with a theory of everything, but it's something that could be very specific to you. And again, integrates with all aspects of yourself. So this could look like you have an aha moment about something related to the artistic world. And suddenly the little bit of art that you've been doing on the side has this, you see the higher purpose. You see where you can actually change something. You see where you can tweak it. And you see now where you can actually maybe express a message through the art form that you work with. And that in doing so can elevate a certain level of the human collective experience by you having this like, oh my gosh, if I integrate this with what I can already do on this creative level and I'm able to share this with others, well, I have the ability to elevate through my artistic talents. The same thing can happen in work. You have this aha moment of work and you realize you just connected two dots and you found a new way to do something better, and this new system is going to make everything more efficient. Or there's a new way that you can communicate with people, and that your new form of communication is going to elevate your experience instead of bring it down. But these are the things that we have to be self-aware of first. And when we're going through these awakenings, we have to, like if we're going to go through an energetic upgrade, we have to integrate that into who we are. So we don't just lose who we are. We integrate this new idea or this new awareness, and we bring it back to ourself. And we start to work with, well, how can this new version of ourself or this new thing we've unlocked with ourselves now be used to elevate my experience as well as elevate the experience of others. So, as a quick takeaway recap here, Aquarius, for this month, what you're bringing awareness to is your body, your physical being, and utilizing it as that kind of divining rod of, yes, I feel good, no, I don't. And then using that point of curiosity that when you don't feel good, why? When you feel great, why? You got it. When we think of curiosity, we're channeling that inner child. And we all know that being around children can involve a lot of whys. Well, why? Well, why? Well, why? Well, how come? And that's what you need to channel this month with regards to how you're feeling in your physical body. If you've had an ongoing ailment, well, why? And when does it flare up? And how does it connect to you emotionally? Has this ongoing back problem or knee pain really tapped into your emotional side where that's all you can feel is pain, and it's not allowing you to actually tap into your downloads and tap into the other aspects of self because all you are is focused on pain? Now, once you get past that point, it's about taking action for yourself and taking quick action. I get this feeling this month that there's going to be a lot of, like over the next 2 weeks specifically, things happening. Lots of downloads, lots of opportunities, lots of changes, lots of communication coming through. And so it's on you to really stay focused on taking action from a place of authenticity in a very rapidly changing environment. Remembering that you may be a part of a herd, but that's not all you are. You are still a singularity amongst the herd. And that, yes, we do have to work with others and take them into consideration, but not at the expense of self-expression, of your authentic self-expression. And to sum that all up as a point of contemplation and integration, as you uncover some new aspect of self and you're having this awakening, this awareness, really, how are you integrating this with all of your past experience of yourself? How are you utilizing this to elevate everything you've already learned and experienced? And how are you then channeling that to understand how and why what you're realizing about yourself can also help elevate others? All right, Aquarius, I hope that this has been enlightening. If you'd like to book a personal tarot reading with myself or a one-on-one coaching session, the link to my website is in the description box below, and I hope you get a chance to check out your other readings for the month. Bye.